Hello to all of you from around the world. I want to welcome you back to another Soulivity. Today, we're broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson, and whether you're at home, driving, or at work, we're always glad you're here with us. We have another amazing show for you today. But before we get to it, I'm joined today by Awakening to the Joy author Halina Goldstein. Hello, Halina. And Sheila
Hello.
Applegate. And Sheila Applegate, host of the Consciously Awesome Living show, which airs at 12 noon here on Soulivity TV. Hello, Sheila. How are you?
I'm doing well today. How about you, Brian?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm all in the midst of the holiday season now. We got our tree up and ready to go, and people around the neighborhood have all their lights up and that kind of thing. So it's like beautiful on our street, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what have you, Halina? I haven't talked to you in a minute. What have you been up to?
Oh, I've been working. We're going to talk about this because I've been preparing something that's called the 7 days of joy and rest. So it's been a lot of work, but good work that I'm so glad that I'm able to do. And then in between that, long walks in the forest that I absolutely love, and where everything falls into
Oh,
place. Yeah.
wow, that's amazing. Wow. Okay, well, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff. I mean, Sheila, we talked last week, you know. But anything happening between then and now? I mean, anything that you want to kind of report on to our audience?
We had an amazing fractal illumination
That's
gathering
right.
this
That's
past
right.
week. It was just, it just keep getting better and better. And it feels like people come in with instant joy. And some of
Mhm.
them, are coming back. So they might have known somebody else from before. But even the new people just like come into this, like it feels like they've already known each other before we even begin. And then it just gets even better. So that was really exciting.
Well, that is fantastic. That's fantastic. I know I love the pictures on Facebook, and I share them to our Inspiration Central group so people could check those out. I just love seeing all the smiling faces and that kind of thing. It was wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, you know, um, I love what we're going to be talking about today, because I think it's really important. Um, you know, in the midst of the holiday season, everyone, one tradition for many people is to make resolutions to improve their lives. The goals run the spectrum from like losing weight to being more proactive, but most people have problems keeping their resolutions throughout the year. In a recent study by the National Institutes of Health, after tracking 200 New Year's resolvers over a 2-year period, they found that only 19% were able to keep their resolutions for the 2 years. A whopping 77% maintained their pledges for only 1 week. Wow. So today we're going to be talking about a way for each of us to inject joy into creating our New Year's resolutions and help us maintain them throughout the year. I mean, what a great
Mm.
topic, ladies. And I'm glad I'm talking to both of you about this, because I can't think of two other people that would help me do this in this kind of empowered way, because you both bring this diversity of thought to it. Do either one of you make New Year's resolutions? I mean, Halina, I'll go to you first.
I actually don't. I do live a very intentional life. I do work with intentions, well, not manifestation, not New Year resolutions, but I do New Year gratitude. And we'll get back to how things
Oh,
can be
okay.
combined and how we can create experiences from that. But yes, New Year gratitude, that's me.
Okay. Wow. Why don't you do you have like a certain philosophical a point around not doing resolutions? Can you share that?
Well, that's because I am very intentional about pretty much any aspect of my life. So I do it
Mhm.
throughout the year. And whenever there's something that arises, something that I want to create, whether it's something within me or something outside me, I start working with it. So I don't wait until New Year, so to speak. And these things can unfold over various stretches of time. But it doesn't mean that I don't think we should do New Year resolutions. Just doesn't fit my rhythm. But it can be done in meaningful and joyful ways for sure.
Okay. Okay. Nice. What about you, Sheila? Do you do resolutions? New Year's resolutions?
I'm I do not either. In this but
Yeah.
in a similar way to Halina as she was speaking, but I think early on it was a rebellion type thing. I really don't like to do things that the world tells me I should do, especially when they feel superficial. And
Keep the power.
right? So I think it started that way when I was younger. I do remember in my 20s when I was deep into, the beginning of my journey, really learning metaphysics. I remember the first year I wanted to just meditate at New Year's. And I've always also found like getting really drunk and being with a crowd of people to start the new year didn't ever feel like a good vibration to me, even when I was younger. So, so there, I'm with Halina in the sense that I am intentional throughout the year. I like to, I feel like just about maybe it is in sort of the end of summer, beginning of fall. I see my year, and I set some intentions for what I wanted to accomplish during the year, but based
Mhm,
also on that these are the things that I feel right now. So,
mhm,
yeah, I'm excited to explore this because I think there's many layers to this, and I think there's an absolute beautiful way to turn this tradition, which really goes back into the solstice celebrations from around the world through ancient times. I think we
mhm.
can turn this into an intention or a ritual that can be really supportive of us on our journey.
Mhm.
And that's something
How
we're gonna
about
be
you?
talking tomorrow about too, winter solstice. We're gonna be talking about
Yeah,
winter solstice
yeah.
tomorrow. Um, I don't do them either in the traditional sense, like the 2 of you. Um, I take stock. I take stock of the year.
Mhm,
Um, um, and like you, I'm like both of you, I'm already very intentional about um, staying connected to source, um, really diving down in what I'm feeling, what do I want, and going through a process of of doing affirmations. But at the end of the year, I just take stock about the year and I go into gratitude for that. And then I kind of like map out what are the big things that I want to accomplish that are part of that intentionality. Um,
mhm.
and I kind of write them out. And I might even update my treasure map. Some people call that a vision board with newer, fresher information that reflects where I am today, not where I was a year ago. And then I move forward with that. And then that becomes part of my meditative and affirmative kind of actions that I take throughout the rest of the year. So that's what I do too. So I think we're all kind of in sync in some ways around that. Helena, question to you though about New Year's resolutions in general. Um, as I was talking about the study from NIH, the National Institutes of Health, where we're talking about people who are creating these resolutions and then the overwhelming majority fail. Why do you think that's so?
Well, I think that most of these resolutions come from a place of discontentment, actually,
Mm,
rather than
mhm,
from a place of joyful creation. It's like the typical example is, oh, I've gained too much weight throughout Christmas. I'm going to lose weight, or I'll stop smoking, or this and that. So
right.
so behind it, there's this feeling something is wrong with me. I'm not living my life the way I should, and it's very difficult to stop. But after New Year, I will do it. So
Right.
there's just not enough to motivate people, and also they don't. I think most people, we're not being taught in school how to create intentional living, right? We're not being taught how to make these things work. So it becomes they just don't have, most people don't have the tools for it. So there's just a swish, I'm going to do this or that, and then it kind of fades out.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you. I really, 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 because I know in the past when I've created resolutions, and they, number one, they would always just come at the end of the year, right? I mean, they weren't like things that I really thought about throughout the year in terms of how I wanted to improve my life experience as a whole. It was always like little things like, oh well, I'm going to give up fast food, or for the month of January I'm not going to drink, or all that kind of stuff. And of course, I always failed, or they always didn't work out. What about you, Sheila? What do you think about this really quickly as we're coming up on break?
I think I think that, you both really hit it on the head. I'm thinking of the word resolution,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
resolve, right? Determination. And I think that's a vibration that is not anchored, right? We're coming from our head. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
because of that term, we often do. People come from a head thing, what I should be doing, not what I want to in the core of my being, or not from a place of joy, like, what do I want this new year to be? And so we're, like you both said, we're taking away, or, we're doing something, putting in that we will do something we don't like, you know, instead of finding the joy in filling up the space with the things that we
Right.
do want, that we do like. And then from there, the other things fall into place more easily. So I think
Right.
that if we turn it around and just tweak it, we can really come up with some ideas for people who do want to, follow the tradition and have a more joyful year coming ahead.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. In fact, we're going to take a quick break, ladies. But don't worry, everyone. We've got even more Soulivity Day today coming up, where we're going to be talking more about New Year's resolutions, how to inject joy in them, and create ones that we can maintain. In the next segment, we're going to talk more about what is joyful success, right? In the midst of this, and what's the difference between you know, that and resolutions and that kind of thing. So stay right here. We've got more Soulivity today in about 2 minutes. Hi there, this is Brian with Soulivity.com. I want to share some exciting news about our new Aspire Academy by Soulivity. Now, you probably want to know what the Aspire Academy by Soulivity is. Well, it exclusively connects you with people around the globe and who share the intense desire to improve themselves and create a better life for themselves today. There's classes, there's workshops, there's live events, and even more exclusively just for you. You see, I wanted you to have a safe space where you could grow, you can learn, and it would empower you in all aspects of your life, including your mind, your body, and your soul. So how do you get started? Well, it is so easy. First of all, the best part, joining Aspire Academy is absolutely free. Just click on the Join Now button, sign up, and begin your journey. As a special part of this invitation to you, there are some free courses that are available for you to try from our amazing roster of coaches and collaborators. It's our way of saying thank you for all of your support and being with us along our journey of expansion. I hope you enjoyed the Aspire Academy by Soulivity today. Start the process. Learn more about your passion, your purpose, and how to live a higher quality life. Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today. We're talking about how to create and maintain joyful New Year's resolutions that truly bring about the changes you want in your life. And of course, back with us are Halina Goldstein and Sheila Applegate. Good morning and good afternoon again to both of you. Um, let's talk about New Year's resolutions and joyful success. And so the question is, Helena, can New Year's resolutions lead to joyful success? And like, what is joyful success?
Yeah, I absolutely believe that they can. And it depends on where they come from. I believe that if we can make them from a space of self-love and joy and genuine dedication, I think it's possible. And actually, I came to think about something when I was in my 20s. I smoked. I smoked like 20 cigarettes a day, and
Wow.
wanted to stop. And I'm sure I also had some New Year resolution that clearly didn't take me anywhere, and I just couldn't. But I stopped when I started discovering that what I was really missing was to be able to breathe deeply and to be able to feel what I was feeling. When that positive intention, that longing actually, when that kind of found its place, I stopped smoking. So it's the same
Wow.
with New Year resolution. If we can do it from a space of something, this is something I really want. Not I should not, but I really want it. I long for it, and I think it's possible. As for the other part of your question, what is joyful success? I think that could be defined in so many ways, but in one way you could say that you can live your life and see every day as a joyful success in the sense that we all do our best. We really do. If we could do something else, we would have done it. So every day we have lived as a joyful success in the sense that we did our best. We did our best, and joy is there somewhere. But otherwise, to me, joyful success is when we create something from a space of joy from the beginning to the end. So from the way we intend things and how we then make them happen, and to the end, bring joy along.
I love that. I love that. What is joyful success to you, Sheila?
Well, as Helena, as you were speaking, I had these thoughts about when we look at the New Year's resolution, we're often actually resolving to do a step in the process of reaching what we want to do, right? So
Mhm.
let's go to the
Mhm.
traditional ones that everybody seems to do. I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to lose weight, right? So
Right.
it's not, if you're putting it up, it's like I have to sacrifice in order to get what I want. So just like you said, Helena, what is it that you want? Giving cigarettes up wasn't a joyful resolution, right? That was,
Mhm.
you had to get under the surface to see that what you wanted, what would happen if you did those things, right? What were you really
Mhm.
looking
Mhm.
for? So if it's I want to be able to get on the floor and play with my grandkids, or
Yeah.
I want to feel better about myself, I want to have more energy. um, we're moving for those as the joyful success. What will bring us joy? How does it feel and resonate? And then from that space we can choose joyful things along
Right.
the way, um,
Mhm.
and find joy in the process that we're doing. But when we focus just on determining to get through the wall of whatever that is, we're not
Mhm.
seeing past it. And so we're just going to push up against it, and we're not going to be able to get to what we really want because we haven't even
Mhm.
identified it or brought any joy into the process.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm so glad we're talking about this specific aspect of like resolving to do something. Um Again, this relates to the difference between joy and happiness, right? And a lot of
Mhm.
times we confuse the two and we bring the two in the same space, but they're completely different, right? Where happiness is something that's more man-made, right? It's we become happy as the result from something. Joy is innate, right? It is already here. It is the ongoing, everlasting, ever-present excitement and celebration of all that there is, right?
Mhm.
And that by tapping into that, you feel joyful. And a lot of times we don't take the time to do that. Even as you were saying, Helena, around just we wake up in the morning and we immediately go to work or we do things, and from the moment that we put the toothbrush to our teeth, we're complaining about something or we're finding fault about something, and we
Mm.
don't take the time to really just be in a very peaceful state and saying, wow, what I wonder what the day holds for me today, that will create joy, that will create me to feel more joyful inside, right? To bring this joy out of myself. Maybe when you walk outside, you see this beautiful robin that's just kind of sitting on a tree, or maybe you have just a wonderful drive into work. I mean, whatever it is, we don't take the time to notice. And so what becomes the dominant? The dominant becomes this heavy, lower vibrational energy, of finding fault with ourselves, finding fault with our life experience, may it be our job, our partner, our whatever it is, and then we resolve where I'm not going to feel like that anymore, right? I'm going to do something that doesn't make me feel that way, and that's not how we manifest stuff. We manifest stuff from the affirmative, right? From the positive affirmative view, and that's what joy can do. So thank you both for talking about that. Thank you. That's so. I feel very strongly about this, as you can see,
Mhm.
um, um, because it is a shift, right? I mean, this shift, out of literally trying to fix ourselves. Would that be a good? I think that's what we're literally
Mhm.
Mm.
trying to do. We're trying to
I think,
fix. Yeah, go ahead, Sheila.
I feel like when we think of success, really, if we think of success in any area of our life, we're reaching for joy, right? Because that's
Yes,
the point of
Yes.
being
yes,
successful
Yes.
is to have joy. So when we turn it around and choose joy and make a commitment to bring joy into our life, we're automatically successful and then everything else falls into place.
absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely. And um really quickly, Helena, you gave us the key. And one of the keys that you said was when you wake up and where you're experiencing the new year, you move into gratitude. That's like the
Mm.
first thing that you do. And if you go into gratitude, it goes to joy. You can't help
It
but go into
does.
joy.
Right.
You can't
Exactly.
help
It
it.
just spirals up. Yeah.
It just whoop, and it goes right boom boom, and you're like, wow, my life is really, it's a lot better than I thought it was. I'm doing
Mm.
okay, I'm doing well, there's more that I want to accomplish, but man, things, I'm all right, I'm okay,
Mm.
right? Man,
Mhm.
listen, I love in this conversation. Listen, we're gonna take another break, everyone, but when we come back, we'll talk about, again, we want to make these contrasts to help you, and so we're going to talk about joyful success versus goal setting, right? What's this difference that's there, and how to help each one of you inject more joy into this whole process of resolving so that we can have better lives. So we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Do you see me kneeling on this dual roller called Parasetter? It's actually comfortable because of this channel and the softness of the special foam. It feels like my kneecaps are being massaged. When I lie down, my spine is housed in this channel, while the convex rollers massage my muscles. They let go and lengthen. There's a traction effect from my head on the headrest and my mid-back from the rib wrap, which hugs me. When I start the breathing sequence, I feel calm because my cortisol levels are dropping. Lower cortisol means bye-bye constant hunger. Parasetter is 40 inches long and much more comfortable than old-style rollers, but it weighs only 10 ounces. Parasetter, just like Pilates was, is no longer an insider secret. Do yourself a favor. Reset your parasympathetic nervous system. Defeat stress. Lying, sitting, kneeling, or standing. This unique patented roller helps everyone.
Six years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit soulivity.com now.
Hey there, we're glad that you're back here with us on Soulivity today. We are talking about how to create joyful New Year's resolutions, basically also how to maintain them as well. Back with me here on Soulivity today is Halina Goldstein and Sheila Applegate. And, we were talking about this concept of joyful success. Like, what is it for for all of us? Can we kind of use New Year's resolutions to get to joyful success? And I wanted us to kind of dig a little bit deeper into what all this means by adding another concept, right? And that's goal setting. Sheila, what do you believe is the difference between joyful success and goal setting for you in your life?
Well, I think in a way I alluded to it in the beginning when I talked about how we're focused on the steps versus
Yeah.
on what we truly want. And that doesn't mean so years ago, I made a choice to run my business based on the joy model, which is does it bring me joy? If it brings me joy, do it. If it doesn't bring me joy, don't do it. And I think that that would panic a lot of people to think, well, but you wouldn't be successful that way. But I don't
Right.
think that if people really looked at my career and what I do on a regular basis, that you would say I'm not accomplishing things, right?
Right.
Nor
Right.
that I stopped accomplishing. I've accomplished more. And I do have intentions. I have goals. Like I said, in September, I tuned in. And at that point, there were projects that I thought were going to be done 2 years ago, but then last year I went in a different direction. And and then now I'm like, okay, it feels like it's time to finish up these projects. And they're all falling into place because there's this ebb and flow of moving where we need to go in that moment. And then so they're fluid goals, they're fluid
Right.
and they're moving, and the current that they move with is joy. So I guess I'm getting a little abstract perhaps, but that's what I'm thinking about when we talk about
Okay.
this right now.
Okay. I can feel that. I feel that. I feel that. What about you, Halina? In terms of like
Well,
when you're working toward joyful success versus goal setting, or are they similar for you or a little bit different?
they're very different from me, actually. And
Okay.
when I think, and that might not be true for everyone, but when I think about goal setting, I think about my mind, my thoughts, trying to figure out what I should do and when I should do it and when I should reach that goal. and that's very kind of my mind to try that, but my mind is not a very good tool for that. My mind is not able to look into the future. Thank you, mind. And it doesn't, and there's a lot of, that's much more to both life and me and the world and the ebb and flow, as that Sheila mentioned, that my mind doesn't understand. But when I think
Mhm.
of joyful success and of intentional living, that to me is an organic, a holistic process. And it's pretty much how you described it, Sheila. It's within that process, goals can be created, they can be achieved, they can be exceeded or not reached, but it's still a joyful success because live in alignment with that bigger flow. You have joy with you, and you create what you were really meant to create, and not just what the mind thought would be the best steps, as you said.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm loving this. What I'm being led to kind of talk about is this idea, just to kind of like crystallize this, is again, as I said before, we were talking about this joy, right? That's ever present, right? It's
Mm,
always there. It exists whether or not you believe in it, or you're in it, or you bring to it, or you jump into it or not, right? It's kind of like air. This air is here, right? We don't have to see it. It's just here. As
Right.
opposed to goals, which are these finite kinds of things. Okay, I've reached my goal, right? That's different than being in a state of joy where you're affirming, or your intention is, I'm going to be in a state of joy, right? That can grow and grow into the infinite, right?
Hmm.
Where you're always ever present in joy. And so it's not this, you never reach an end. You just keep building and building and building and building into this intention that attracts to you what you want to create. It's kind of like the difference between asking for a car, right? Or
Hmm.
you're affirming that you will have reliable, consistent transportation no matter where you want to go, that will
mm,
always be available for you, and that it's with ease, peace, and grace. Those are two different
mm.
feelings with that we resonate in. Halina, can you give us an example? Maybe it's an example of one of your intentions that you make for yourself at the beginning of the year.
Well, I don't make them in the beginning of the year because what happens for me in the beginning of the year, I go into this gratitude, and then the intention that arises for me spontaneously is the intention for peace in the world and peace and joy
Hmm.
for my loved ones. These are the
Got
things that come
goosebumps.
like arise, yeah. Um, but outside the new year, what I notice when I create those intentions is that exactly they happen very similar way as what you just described. So, for example, I at some point I found out I want to go to an island on that's called Shikoku in Japan, and be part of a group that goes for a very long and very for me challenging hike. And when I created
Mm.
that intention, I thought it would be about how far I can go, how many hours, but the intention became to feel great, to be able to participate
Mm.
in that hike and in that experience, and to feel great on every level. And what's been happening since then is that I've become stronger. My body is just getting better and better, and I'm unfolding in all kinds of ways. But the intention is just that I feel great there.
I love, 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 love that. Um, again, it feels this feeling of elevating
Mhm,
our ask, right, of
mhm,
ourselves and the universe and that kind of thing, which I think is just fantastic and brings about a completely different experience for ourselves. Um, Listen, everyone, we've got to take a quick break, but we've got more on this because we want to make sure that we kind of round this conversation out with what are some of the ways that we can start experiencing joyful success in our lives? Like, how do we do it? What are the tips that we can give you? And especially with a fantastic event that's coming up that I'm sure you're going to want to know about. So we're going to take this quick break, and we'll be back in a little under 2 minutes. Find all of the Satana products at our Go shop at go.soulivity.com.
Have you ever asked the question, if I was to be anything, what would I be? Regardless of money, regardless of status, beyond popularity and fame. Living your passion, feeling your life has purpose. Soulivity is a space to nurture that which lives in all of us. A place where work can become play, and doing what we love creates the dreams of a lifetime.
Hey, we're back here with more on Soulivity today. We're talking about how to create and maintain joyful New Year's resolutions that can bring about those changes that you want in your life. And so Halina Goldstein and Sheila Applegate are back with me as we make this final turn to bring it on home, which is how we can really experience joyful success in our lives through some intentionality and affirmative action. And so, Halina, I'm going to go to you for what your thoughts are about how we do this.
So the first thing, and that could be a great New Year resolution, is to commit to connecting with joy, to make it part of your every single day, to keep connecting with joy. And as we do that, and it becomes more easier and becomes more natural for us, then allow that joy to infuse more and more of your life. That in itself is joyful success, just doing that. And because it also defines who you then, what you do in the world, because now you're motivated by joy and who you are in the world. So let joy define you, and then whatever you decide to create specifically, again, bring joy in. And the last thing that might be kind of surprising is to let go of results. Let go of the idea that it has to result in this and that, but allow life to lead you there. That actually often that leads to much better results, but it also takes away the pressure. Yeah.
Let's pause and go into that a little bit, because I think people need to hear about, Sheila, that part of the equation. Letting go of the results. What does that mean for you when you do your intentions and affirmative actions around joyful success?
I think that that's primary. Anytime that we attach to results that come to us at the beginning of the process, we are limiting ourselves and we're getting off a track. So the word that kept coming in as we began this segment for me was also creativity and letting.
Mm.
So if joy is too abstract for somebody, you might consider bringing in creativity, which is life force energy, really,
Right.
Mhm.
and then
Right.
allowing that to infuse and to bring it forward. And it brings to mind the 7 days of joy that we are doing at the beginning of the new year. And just a few weeks ago, maybe even just a week ago, Halina and I, came together. Should we be a part of this? And we didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know if we wanted to or not. But we felt the creativity, the ideas come, and we said, "Oh, we'll keep it easy. We won't do much. We'll just do a little bit here." And like Halina said, she's been spending weeks doing this. We've been working on it. We're advertising for something free. We're working there's nothing we get out of this except spreading more joy. And
Right.
we want
Right.
that so bad. There's no results other than we're going to do our very best to reach as many people as we can to help them
Right.
start the new year in joy. To me,
Right.
that's the essence of it. And the miracles and the successes and all the other things take care of themselves when you're in that space.
As you're talking about this, I am, I know people maybe kind of scratching their head around if I'm asking for if I'm asking for a certain result, how can that limit myself? And the answer is that the universe is unlimited, and that the universe, that there could be a plan for you that's greater and better than anything that your mind, right,
Right.
small m, can see. And so if you're saying, I want a 2025 Mercedes Benz, blah, 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 and that's what you think is going to bring about this happiness and this joy in your life, the universe can be like, yeah, that's cool, but there's this thing over here that that is yours, that is your birthright, that I've been waiting to give you. When you're ready to receive it, but you keep asking for this other thing over here. But so you
Right.
have to go to a higher level frequency and let that flow into your life. And
Brian, that
it's
reminded me,
yeah.
this is such a clear example of that. So I have a dear friend who I call my English mom. And I remember her lifetime goal was a midnight blue convertible Mercedes. And it was just her dream car. And she just always wanted it. And then they had some success, and her husband bought her this car. And she was taking me for a drive in it for the first time, for me. And she says to me, "You know what? I was more happy before I got it when it was still a dream. Now it's just a car." Yeah.
Ta-da!
So when you start talking about the
Ta-da!
Mercedes, I'm like, I got the perfect.
And that's it, right? I mean, we talk about these things, Halina, and we talk about them such at a I look at it as a lowercase level, right? Happiness with the small h. We try to create it through our minds with the small m, and we don't go to the next level up, right? Where, listen, if instead of saying, well, I want to lose weight, you could move into a joyful experience of, I want to feel joy as I look at my body. I want to feel joy, joyfully fit, right? Where you're not putting a resolution on what thing is, or what event is going to make you feel better about yourself. You start from feeling better about yourself from the beginning and move into that feeling and embody that feeling. And then the other stuff will take care of itself, right?
It will.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's so much about openness, right? Being open.
Yes. Yes. And letting go too, right? You said this before, we're surrendering that result, surrendering our mind wants to control, right? Because it only knows ones and zeros, X's and O's. It is a computer, right? And so we don't think about, we don't have the concept in our head of infinite experience, right? It is outside of that grasp. We have to go to a higher level, which are soulful beings or spiritual beings, whatever you want to call it, and create from that space, right? It's so important. And there's a beautiful way that you guys have created. We've been talking about it off and on for, the last hour or so, about this 7 days of joy. And that I think this would be a excellent way for people to experiencing being renewed and that kind of thing. And it's something that people can do every single day, regardless of whether or not it's a new year. I think the three of us still were talking about the intentionality of that this is just a daily practice. We might kind of take stock at the end of the year, and like Halina, like you feel gratitude, but it's not like, okay, I'm going to make myself better by doing X and starting January 1st. It's not like that. Can you talk a little bit about, Halina, I'm going to go to you first, about this beautiful program, which is the 7 days of joy, rest, and reweaving wholeness, which is absolutely free. Can you talk about it? I'll talk about it and let people know about what this program is.
Absolutely. And I will try to limit myself because I'm so enthusiastic about it. But in essence, it's an experience that we're creating for people, 1 hour every day, starting January 1st, and then for 7 days. And each day has its own experience. So there are meditations, there are inspiring talks. There is a writer workshop, there's a breathing workshop, there is a cafe, there is a creative workshop, and the thing is that all of it is, again, very much about creativity, as you mentioned, Sheila. That's such a powerful way into joy, and because it's day after day, we build joy up, so we create a space for joy. And when you think about resolutions, imagine that there is this space, this room that we create in different ways, and that in itself are fun and inspiring experience. But you can actually bring your resolutions in there. You can say to yourself, okay, I want to be inspired to the best resolutions for me while I'm participating. Or you can chat about it with the people that are there, because these are interactive experiences on Zoom. So it's just going to be great. Now I better stop, but I could just go on. I should say, though, that you have to register. It's totally free, but we ask you to register at joykeepers.org/7 days, and then we'll send you all the information.
Absolutely. And we've put this information in our chat as well. Sheila, what are your thoughts about this fantastic online experience?
Yeah. I'm so excited. The idea to really infuse the first 7 days of the year with joy in so many different creative ways. It is 1 hour every day, but it's also recorded. So if you can't commit to it at that time each day, you still have that to turn to and to experience and infuse within you. It is not a promotion that we're doing in order to sell you something at the end. This is just to bring joy into your life with no strings attached. We have created a raffle just to help get the word out to more people. And so you can also see the raffle, and the way to be put in for the chance to win a session, an individual session with either Halina or with myself, is basically to follow the thing and to just help us share it out so more people can start their year with joy. We hope you'll do that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. This is like so fantastic. Um, and the truth, I'm going to take, editor's privilege here and correct, you, Sheila. You do get something out of it.
Oh,
You
yes. We get joy.
You
We
do.
get, yes, we get an abundance
Yeah.
amount, but we are not
Joy
taking
begets
any
joy begets
monetary
joy.
thing from you.
Yeah. I mean,
Sure.
I think what I would sell people around all of this is when you move into joy and gratitude and an experience of love, and you're moving, and these are all with capitals, right? These are title case. So, love with a capital L, gratitude with a capital G, joy with a capital J. These experiences, when you move into them, your life experience changes, and you attract to you all the things that match that frequency. And if you don't believe me, try it. Go to 7 days, right? Do these things, take an hour each day, make a commitment to doing it. Or going back, if you can't make it during that time, go back and do it before. Maybe even allowing yourself to go back and watch the things over and over again that you're resonating with. And what will happen is that as long as you're paying attention, you will see things change. You may get a phone call out of the blue. You may get other things out of the blue. And so just do that, Guys, I wish we had more time to kind of talk about this stuff. But we've run out of time. So thanks, guys, for being here.
Joy
Again,
does that. It makes time
I
go
know,
fast.
right? Golly. Well, listen, everyone. Thanks to you both, Halina and Sheila, for being here. Thanks to all of you for being here. We've kind of run out of time, so we'll see you tomorrow when we're talking about winter solstice. So until next time, bye for now.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.